Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome to the West Bay Municipal Water District Water Policy and Legislation Committee. Um, we do have a quorum. We have Director Houston standing in for Director Deere, and Director Gray is here. And
Director Deere is here too. They've been here. It's the first one
okay.
here.
Oh, great. All right, good to hear your voice. Maybe we should do the roll call, please, Julie, or whoever's Greg, or whoever can do that. Hello.
Greg, did you want me to do that? I think you're on mute.
I'm
Or if
sorry,
you
I
wanna
was
go
on
ahead.
mute. Go ahead, Julie.
Okay. Director Deere,
Here.
Director Houston,
Here.
Director Williams,
Here.
Director Alvarez, and Director Gray.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum.
Thank you. Ms. General Manager, can you go to the next item on the agenda, please?
Absolutely. Can we advance the page? I believe it's public comment. Okay, and
Are
so
there any public comments?
okay, if
No.
we have anyone on the virtual platform who would like to make a public comment, please identify yourself by raising your hand in the virtual platform. It appears we have no public comment at this time on the platform, and our board secretary, Julie, you indicated that there were no registered comments in advance.
That is correct.
Okay, all right. I think we're no public comments, Chair Gray.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Okay, next item is presentations, and I don't believe we have any presentations for today.
All right, next item, please.
So that brings us to the action calendar. And so our first action calendar item is regarding our approving the 2017 Greater Los Angeles Integrated Regional Water Management Plan. And so I'll hand it over to EJ Caldwell, Manager of Water Policy and Legislation, and his team to provide the report out and the recommendation on this action item.
Yes, thank you very much, Greg and Madam Chair, members of the committee and board. As you all recall, West Bay Municipal Water District is very involved in the Greater LA County Integrated Regional Water Management Program, specifically related to the fiduciary duties. We do have Tammy Hurley High here, our water policy and resources analyst too, who is very involved as far as handling these actions on behalf of West Bay Municipal.
Are you going to give me some food to eat?
And she is here for the presentation of item 5A. Tammy,
Hi,
go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Gray and Member Deere and board members. So this item is being brought to you today in order to provide information on the updated 2017 Integrated Regional Water Management Plan and for your consideration for adoption of the updated plan and of the general manager to authorize preparation and submittal of a grant funding application for Proposition 1, Round 2. So a few years ago in 2014, the board approved a resolution adopting the 2014 Integrated Regional Water Management Plan, and I'll refer to that as IRWIN with the acronym. And since then, the plan has been updated, which reflects new regional elements by incorporating new technologies, ideas, and project concepts. So the IRWIN program, as you may recall, was developed by the State of California Department of Water Resources. And the IRWIN was established in order to allow agencies to collaborate in development and implementation of local projects, regional plans, and solicit a competitive grant funding process. There are a total of 50 IRWIN funding regions across the state of California. And the Greater Los Angeles County IRWIN is made up of 5 water management areas. So the chairs and the vice chairs of each of these subregions are part of the Greater Los Angeles Area Leadership Committee. And the Greater Los Angeles Leadership Committee is comprised of 16 voting members that include chairs and vice chairs of each of these 5 regional steering committees. And then a representative of each of the 5 broad water management areas. And the 16th member is the Los Angeles County Flood Control District, which acts as the chair of the leadership committee. So West Basin serves as the chair of the South Bay subregion and is on the leadership committee for the Greater Los Angeles IRWIN. And as a chair, we are required to adopt the Greater Los Angeles IRWIN plans as they are updated. So one of the components is to be eligible for awarded funding through the IRWIN process is for local project sponsors to adopt the IRWIN region's most recent update to the plan. And included in this memo is a full red line version of the plan. It can also be accessed on the link, website link that was provided. And it includes a portion describing the South Bay sub-region. And the Greater Los Angeles Regional IRWIN Group has worked on updating this plan to comply with new state integrated planning requirements and to make the group eligible for future grant funding. Also, district staff, we are seeking to apply for funding under round 2 of the Proposition 1 solicitation. And this will be to seek funding for the Harbor South Bay recycled water laterals to Gardena and Carson. And last May, DWR released a proposal solicitation package, and the Greater Los Angeles County has issued a call for projects. And they are seeking eligible projects for inclusion of the grant application to DWR. So today, staff, we are recommending that the board consider adoption of the 2017 updated IRWIN plan and approve staff to prepare and submit a grant funding application for the Proposition 1 Round 2 IRWIN grant program. And attachment A includes a copy of the proposed resolution. And this concludes the report, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Madam
Director
Chair.
Gray, I believe you're on mute.
Oh, Madam Chair. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Director Williams.
Am I free to ask a question now?
I believe so, Director Williams. Please proceed with your question.
Okay, it's a quick one, easy one. I just don't remember whether or not this is a matching fund grant? If so, how much was, what is the percentage?
This is a grant funding award from DWR through the IRWIN process, and we would be seeking funding under what's considered a disadvantaged community portion of the grants that are available. If we were approved to, as we go through this vetting process, that would waive any cost share for West Basin. So we are seeking to apply for fund so we can waive these cost shares because of the location of where these 2 laterals are. They can be considered in disadvantaged areas. However, depending on how this process goes for, there's a certain amount of dollars that are available for 3 IRWIN regions. So it has to go through that particular process. And then they weigh and weigh in on all of the applications that are submitted to them. So we will keep you apprised, keep you updated as this process continues. It will take a few months before we get to that point. But initially, we are seeking to waive any cost share for West Basin.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
If I may add to the response,
Are there any other questions? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes,
can
we
hear
can.
you.
Hello? Okay.
yes,
Any other questions? All right. Then, are you finished with the presentation?
I
I am. I
believe,
believe Greg has a question.
I
Hey,
did have a
Greg.
question, but I was just going to add to the response to Director Williams about the matching funds. And it's great that have an opportunity to possibly gain additional financial support for the two recycled water pipeline projects. That's the Mills Park project and the North Gardena lateral project. And so that'll complement the funding that we have on authorization for from the Army Corps of Engineers. And so that potentially can help us close the gap between that funding and the balance that we need to raise.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, if there's no further questions or comments, Director Deere, is it okay to move it forward with the recommendation? Hello? Hello?
Hello, Director
Deere, can you
Williams?
hear us?
Hello?
Would there be a
Director
motion
Deere?
to?
Director Deere, can you hear me?
I'm not a member of the committee, but I would be happy to say that silence is consent.
So maybe our alternate, Director Houston, if he's available to perhaps bring a
Hello?
motion.
Hello?
Director Houston?
Hello?
Hello,
Director
Director.
Gray, we can hear you.
All right, I'm trying to ask Director Deere if he's okay with moving it forward. This is the committee meeting, correct?
That's correct, but he's not responding. So our general manager, Greg, asked if Director Houston would move it forward as he's the alternate and he is on the line.
Director Houston, are you okay with moving it forward?
And Director Houston is on mute, so we would need to unmute his phone
Okay.
if he.
I know.
This is Don Deere. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes, Don, we
Yes.
can hear you. Thank you.
I can't believe.
Are you okay with?
Yes, I am. I agree. My vote is yes.
Okay, thank you, Don. All right, we can move the item forward, please. Is there another item?
Thank you.
Yes, Chair
Thank you,
Gray.
Kenny.
Yes, I can hear you. And can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, and thank you for closure on action item A. So that takes us to action item B, and the recommendation to take a support position for State Assembly Bill 1655, addressing state holidays and the establishment of Juneteenth as a state holiday. So with that said, we have our EJ Caldwell, who will provide the report and the recommendation. So please, EJ.
Yes, thank you very much, Greg, Madam Chair, members of the committee and board. The item that we have before you, item 5B, begins on packet page 7. As Greg mentioned, it is related to a potential support position on Assembly Bill 1655 related to state holidays and the Juneteenth holidays. The Assembly Bill would add June 19th or Juneteenth as a state holiday following the legislative action taken by Congress and approved by the President in 2021. Specifically, the legislation as introduced by Assembly members Reggie Jones Sawyer, Mia Bonta, and Akilah Weber would add Juneteenth to the list of state recognized holidays and would specify that holidays created by federal legislation would be considered and recognized as state holidays. I did want to give plenty of credit to the entire team behind this legislation. I just mentioned the legislators that have authored the bill, but the bill also includes principal co-authors of Senator Bradford and Senator Cortez, also co-authors of Assembly members Bryan, Gibson, Holden, McCarty, Arambula, Medina, Mullen, Nazarian, Ramos, Robert Rivas, Santiago, Cooley, Cooper, as well as Assemblymember Wilson. So it's a pretty impressive team behind this legislation. The bill does not currently have any opposition, and the bill is currently in Senate appropriations. And I will highlight that during the legislative update, the state legislative update, because we have a number of bills that are included in that Senate Appropriations Committee. But we are hopeful that this bill will be moved out of appropriation and onto the Senate floor as soon as the legislature reconvenes after the summer recess. So with that, I will read the recommendation that the board adopt a support position on Assembly Bill 1655, state holidays, Juneteenth, recognizing June 19th as a state holiday. Madam Chair, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
This is Don Deere. I move the recommendation.
Okay, I don't hear any questions, but Director Deere moved it.
I move the recommendation.
We've heard you, Don. We move the recommendation. Can we go to the next item? Is there any other item? Hello?
Okay, thank you, Chair Gray. And that completes our action item calendar. And may I add, I think the district directors here demonstrated, leadership in embracing diversity by adopting Juneteenth as a district holiday here at West Basin. And I just want to acknowledge that significant vote of the board. Okay, that takes us to our information calendar, Chair Gray.
All right, is there any director who would like to hear any presentation on the informational items? All right, I don't hear any requests, so we can move on. What's the next item?
Well, that would take us to our closed session. But before I do, I just would like to ask our manager of water policy and legislation if there are any information items that may be of particular interest, if we may recommend a hearing of any information items to you, Chair Gray.
Yes, thank you very much, Greg. And I think that as you look at the information calendar, we tried to provide as much information as possible. There is a report on the 2022-2023 annual water supply and demand assessment. This is a document that was submitted to the state of California as part of our required reporting requirements. It is worthwhile to hear this report because it provides, I think, a good glimpse as to where we are specifically because of the drought. If it might please the chairwoman, I'll just run through the other three items. There's an overview of the water energy nexus. Well, that item isn't.
AJ, before you go on.
Yes.
The information you're going to present, has it been provided to the board written?
It has. It is included in the board packet.
Okay, so just highlight the issues, the points that you need to make, since the board members already have the packet of information, please.
Happy to do that. And I know that we have Matt Bay. Matt, if you could provide just a quick overview of item 6A, I think that's probably the most needed.
Sure. Okay, so I'll make this pretty brief, but I'll just report on the fact that West Basin, along with all urban water suppliers, had to submit our first annual water supply and demand assessment and shortage reports to the Department of Water Resources, which was due on July 1st. This was legislation that was enacted back in 2018 from AB 1668 and SB 606 to address water resiliency and water use efficiency in California. So this was the first year that this report was due. We worked very closely with Metropolitan Water District as well as our retailers to develop and submit this report. There was an initial one that was due in June that was based on Governor Newsom's executive order from earlier this year. So we submitted the preliminary We shared it with Metropolitan. We shared it with our retailers, received some feedback on that. And then we worked with, again, with Metropolitan, the retailers to kind of finalize that report. And we submitted it to DWR by July 1st. And so that's something that we're going to have to do on an annual basis now. This year, kind of the key takeaway is that West Basin is not in a shortage position. Not everybody can say that because of the curtailments that Met has laid down on the state water project dependent areas. And it's something that we're going to keep a close eye on going forward as future actions come down from the state and Metropolitan. So everything, it was good this year. It's something that we're going to, be looking at and planning in lockstep with Metropolitan this next year as future actions come down. And we'll be sure to brief the board on any major changes or decisions that might need to be made with this process next year. So that I'll keep it there and happy to take any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Matt. Are there any questions? Are there any questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay, I don't hear any. EJ or Greg, is there anything else?
Chair Gray, that completes our information calendar, and thank you for allowing the one report out to be shared by EJ Caldwell and Matthew V. So that takes us to the closed session, and I don't believe there are any closed session items on the agenda.
No closed session, okay.
So then that would take us to the director comments and future agenda items.
Director's comments, and are there any comments from the directors? Director Deere, any comment?
No, thank you.
Okay. Director Houston, any comments? Director Williams?
Yes, Madam Chair. This weekend I was out and about in Palos Verdes, and question came up as that was if a person could not get information concerning the drought and water issues in California in general from their city. And they believe that the city should have that information available. For instance, what is the watering days for the area that individual lives in? So is there any way that we can post on our website the watering days for the cities that are in our service area?
All right, Greg, you want to respond to that, please?
Absolutely, Director Gray, Director Williams. Our team under EJ Caldwell's leadership are working very closely with our cities to promote the drought response, with a level of urgency. We have been able to have appearances before a few of our city councils to applaud the leadership that's being displayed. And in some cases, and then also talking with them about the opportunities to take advantage of rebates and incentives to remove lawns and all of that. And so with that, we've also talked about, I'm sorry.
But the whole idea of the Met family will go out the window.
Okay, so it sounds like maybe Director
There was
Gray
some interference there.
But I will meet again. I got a bad report, I do that and.
Okay, and allow me to just continue. So, in answer to the direct question, we absolutely can have these items on our website so that customers in each of our cities can know what their watering days are within the water retail area that they live within. And so I'll defer to EJ to elaborate on that, but we absolutely can do that.
I think you should.
We have quite a bit of the data. Some of our retailers, as you know, some of our customer agencies are municipal retailers. They have very specific guidelines. However, when they reduce it, it's not always down to a specific day. Sometimes it's watering to 2 days per week or 3 days per week, and the customer gets to choose. In the case of anybody that lives in the Palos Verdes Peninsula area, they of course are either governed by municipal code or the restrictions placed on them by the individual retailers. And those individual retailers do include that information in the water bills, but we'll go ahead and pull that information and we'll try to include that on our website as well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It would be easier sometimes for them to just go, for us as directors to say, well, go to West Basin West Basin's website and click on your city, and you'll have the watering days for your city. Can we do something like that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Williams. And Director Gray, if you're able to unmute your mic, if you're still with
Can
us.
you hear me?
Yes.
I'm here.
Yep.
Yes, sorry. Thank you for those comments and response. And so my comment is to thank the staff, as always, for their reports this morning, and also the general manager. I apologize for the feedback on my part on the call today, but we always manage to get through and do the business of the district. So thank you to everybody. Are there any future agenda items, board members or GM?
I don't have any future agenda items to propose at this time, Chair Gray.
All right, thank you very much. If not, then this committee meeting is over. And thank you, Director Deere, for being online, and I hope you continue to get better. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye now.
Adios.